Hi, once again, welcome to the Richard and Judy Book Club, exclusive to WHSmith. And this novel is definitely one of my favourites. It's a crime story, detective story, and I'm an absolute sucker for those anyway. It's called Next of Kin, and it's by David Hosp, who is himself a Boston lawyer, interestingly enough, and it's about a Boston lawyer, Scott. I love him. You're Scott Finn, your character Scott Finn. I mean, he is he's a lawyer with. He's very kind of tough, but he's got a lot of heart, hasn't he? He's got a lot of passion.
He does. He's got a lot of issues, a lot of heart, a lot of passion, and a lot of issues that he's struggling with. Which is, it makes him. He's a very flawed character, but in a lovable way, I think. Yeah,
and the plot is basically that he defends some. Real scum, really, in Boston. Some real criminals. I mean, real sort of almost mob characters, aren't they? Really.
They really are. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he defends them honourably. He's not crooked at all.
He's not crooked. There are times when he's been known to bend the rules a little bit if he thinks he's in the right, but he will only go so far.
And his background is he's born on the wrong side of the tracks. Really, he's an orphan.
He's an orphan.
He was an orphan, so he grew up in foster care. The fact that he's an orphan is very important to the story, obviously. And he grew up in foster care, but he's made it out. He's made it out to this job. And the guy, the central criminal, if you like, or bad guy in this, Eamon McDougal, Irish mobster, basically, who tries to get him, who wants to get him to defend his son on a drugs charge. Scott's big problem is
he can't get him off. He's banged through it. Basically, the lad's caught flogging drugs near a school.
Yes.
And in America, you get caught near a school doing that, and you go away for a long time.
Yeah, you go away for a long, long time.
So that's a dilemma for him. How's he going to get this kid off and not bend the rules too far? And simultaneously, there's a murder. A woman's body is found in a garret. Turns out he thinks to be Scott's mother.
Exactly.
Who abandoned him so many years before.
And it was interesting just because this is the fourth Scott Finn book, and so he's always been an orphan, but this is the first time that I really started to explore who he was, where he comes from, other than just a little bit of the background. This really gets into how it is that he ended up sort of where he is now.
So so in your other three novels, did you know that that Finn came from this background?
I really had only thought through exactly sort of his background in terms of growing up. I never really thought through his parents' background and who his parents were, and how it is that he came to be orphaned. And that was really sort of an accident of having done a book presentation with another author, Ann Fessler, who wrote a book called The Girls Who Went Away, which really was about, it's a nonfiction book about basically women and really young girls in the 40s, 50s, 60s, who gave up their children for adoption
because they were single, they got pregnant, their families, they were disgraced to their families, etc.
So they were sent away to a remote place, had the baby, and the baby was taken off them.
And that's how the book opens. It opens with a flashback, essentially, to his birth.
Yeah. Well, what's fascinating about this story is that, I mean, do we automatically love our mothers, even if we've never known them? You know, and that's kind of his quest, isn't it? What was she like? Would I have loved her? Can I love her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the sort of thing where he's had no information about either of his parents at all.
No.
And so the first time he has any introduction to his background is when essentially the police show up on his doorstep and let him know that his mother, who he's never heard from, never known at all, has been murdered.
Right.
And that's really where a lot of the plot starts to come in.
You said earlier on in this chat that he is one of the good guys. And again, this comes back from previous storylines. He's a guardian to a 14-year-old, 15-year-old girl. 16-year-old girl. Tell us about her and where she pops up from.
Well, and there is. Most of the characters are flawed in one way or another. Those are the characters that I like writing about the most. And in a lot of ways, a number of the characters in the book have a similar background in the sense that they come from broken families, and they come from her. The 14-year-old Sally is the daughter of a crack addict. and a thief. She essentially is the daughter of a former client of Finn's, and Finn has taken her in when she really no longer has anybody to take care of her. And
they live together.
They live together, and he really is. He is a father figure to her, but theirs is an odd relationship because he has never been in the position of really sort of trying to get somebody to trust him in the way that he has to. And
he doesn't have parenting skills.
And he doesn't, exactly.
He didn't have parents.
But what, I mean, the other thing I love about it, Sally's a great character, but also his two partners, Kaz Kozlovsky, the ex-cop, and Lisa, who's his partner in the law partnership, and they are fantastic, and they're like a family, aren't they? They're very, very, very close, and that gives the book a very warm feel. I think.
They are his family, aren't they? Really,
they really are the only family that he's ever had.
But that's what gives the book a very warm feel, I think, and that's different from, I think, most hard-nosed crime thriller. It is very hard-nosed. I mean, it's a great pacey read. But there is this central little nucleus of people which you really care about.
And they really care about each other, and it's you know, again, they're all characters who in some way or another are damaged, and they've sort of found each other. And as he's going through this quest to really find out who his mother was and how it is that she came to be murdered, they are the ones who are supporting him through this, you know, come what may, no matter what happens.
I'm interested to know whether, I mean, you're a lawyer, you're not criminal lawyer particularly, are you?
No, I do some work with exonerations in terms of pro bono work with people who have been wrongly convicted.
Right.
But most of what I do for a living is civil law.
But is Eamon McDougall, pretty fun, silly question, is Eamon McDougall, who is the gangster, the really, really evil man in this, is he typical of the kind of clients that a criminal lawyer in Boston might get?
I don't know whether he's typical. He is certainly, he's on the outer edge.
He's an archetype, isn't he?
He's an archetype. He's a little bit. He's not quite Whitey Bulger, but he's out there on that edge. He is a very, very tough, dangerous person.
And of course, the other character in the book is Boston itself. Yes. Which you write very warmly about. You've obviously lived there. I've only been once. You've been once, a long time ago, haven't you? It is a beautiful city. Does it have a major crime problem? Has it got a big underbelly of organised crime?
It's got kind of a quirky crime background, because there is this aspect of I mean, there is, as you get in any big city, there is crime. But there is this aspect of a dysfunctional organized crime that goes on in Boston.
What do you mean? You mean they're not very good at it?
No, they're good at it, but it's one of those areas where you do have the mafia, but you've also got the Irish gangs, and you've also got some of the ethnic gangs, and so
sounds a lot of fun.
No, it's you know, and it's interesting because it's a little bit more how should I put this? Thuggish in a sense. There is an aspect of kind of old world crime in a sense to it.
Fists and knives and brawls.
Yeah, exactly. There is this sort of gritty kind of sense to it.
Street fighting.
Exactly.
Like Gangs of New York.
Exactly. Very much like that.
How interesting. Well, listen, it's a fabulous book. We really did enjoy it.
Well, thank you
I mean,
so
you wouldn't be sitting here, frankly, if we didn't, because we picked the damn thing. But anyway, it's David Hosp here. It's Next of Kin. You'll absolutely love it. If you're into crime fiction, this is a classic of the genre. It's great. And if you want to find out more about him, or this, or all the other books in the current tranche of the Richard and Judy Book Club, you simply go to the website, which is whsmith.co.uk/Richard and Judy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you. It was really interesting.